Hey, so if you follow me on Instagram, which you should be, you'll probably notice that I put a poll on my story, which if you voted, I was asking what I should roll for my next YouTube video. And to no surprise, y'all chose Rick Sanchez. And because Patrick Star and I have one main thing in common, we both live under a rock, I actually didn't know about the whole controversy around the creators of Rick and Morty. I've always really loved the show. You know, a lot of other people work on the show, not just the ones involved in the controversy. So I decided to continue going with this video since it was already made by the time I found out about it. So yeah. And I made this little square which will be acting as his hair. So we'll be cutting out the shape of the top of his head so we can place it right on top. And you have to make sure to cut a hole at the top of Rick's skull to make sure that the airflow from the top of the hair can go all the way through. And as we finish that right up, you can start to see that he is looking like a Roman warrior or something. Every character I make usually has a prominent feature about them. For Rick, it happens to be his hair. But before you finish his hair, I want to get to adding the other main features of his face, which are his eyes and his nose. So after making the sizable enough holes, you just want to get the two eyes and pop them right in. So now that both of Rick's eyes are in, we can get into making his little nose. And as I did with the eyes, you're going to do the same thing with the nose. Make a little hole right underneath them and pop it right in. And now that we're done with his eyes and his nose, we can finally get into making his hair. How fun. Now, I don't know how many of you are actually going to be trying to follow along with this, but this part is where it can get a little bit difficult. It's extremely tedious, and you just have to be extremely patient, but you can get through it. And as you can see, we're going to be cutting out just like little tiny triangles, kind of like we did with Venom's mouth, which if you didn't see that one, go check it out, except this is going to be on a much larger scale. Voila, we're done. Thank God. We can finally move on to my favorite part, the color. But I was recording this on Tuesday, so not before tacos. And now just to get it over with, we're going to be knocking out the hardest part to color, his hair. Now, besides cutting out baby blue triangles for each one of his little hairs, I decided to cut out rectangles and make a cut in between each little hairs and then wrap them around. Now that we're done with his hair, we're going to head into making his skin. I could have easily kept his skin color the color of the paper, but I have these milk chocolate Juicy J papers, and I thought, hey, these look a lot more like skin tone color, so we're going to go with that. And for Rick's eyes, we're going to be using these root beer papers, which have a nice amount of white real estate to work with.